It's the Zach Sang Show.
Woo!
We got Heather.
Hi.
We got Dan. And Pete Wentz is here.
Hi.
Hi, Pete
Hi,
Wentz.
guys. Didn't really know he was coming. Showed up out of nowhere.
This makes us very happy, though.
I'm here.
We've only had like very brief brushes at like radio rooms
Yes.
over the last couple years.
Yes.
Because you guys go to the radio rooms, you're very committed. Like I feel like you deliver on every interview you do.
Do we?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think so.
When you're in the radio rooms, though, like you hit a point where you're like delirious and
Yeah.
you don't know you're delirious. So they're like, hey, do you want to talk to like, Texas high school football radio? And you're like, yeah, of course
I do.
Sounds awesome. And then you're in the interview and you're like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. And they're like, wait, who are you guys again? It's like pretty great.
There's a whole like 17 people listening to that. So
Totally.
It's a big deal.
Well, Texas is a big state.
Let's talk about major teasing right now.
Yeah,
Because
tease.
you guys are, giving everybody purple balls, dude.
Purple balls. I know the purple balls.
Like, it's real.
So we have a new song called Young and Menace.
Ooh.
That's real. It's like a weird song. And I know, because we like say that a lot, but this one's a weird one where like you get to I always tell people it's a weird one, and then we get to the pre-chorus and they're like, it's weird. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so much weirder than that part.
Is it the sound or the lyrics that are weird?
All of it. There's like a reference to like, we'll be listening to it right now, so you'll know. But there's like a reference to Nikki Sixx dying twice lyrically, and but then the music is like kind of, so we weren't planning on even like kind of really doing new music at this point, but we were playing festivals in Europe, and Patrick played me this, and I was like, this thing is like bonkers. I think it might be like the way the inside of his brain works, because it's like real weird, whatever. And so it felt like it was of the moment. We've done since,
Okay.
so we put out a record called Take This to Your Grave like 6 records ago or something like that, or 7 records ago. And since then, that was a blue record, like the color palette, and then the next record was a red color palette, and we've done blue-red until now. So the new record, after hearing the song, it felt like, whoa, this is like something completely different. And so the new record's called Mania, and it's like a purple palette.
It's pretty, and the movie like trailer is intense.
Yeah, so the movie trailer actually is for the video, and the video is for the song Young and Menace. And basically what it is this girl, she's at the beach, and this magazine ad like washes up on the beach, and she's like all freaked out, and it's like these people on vacation, just like family on vacation.
Yeah.
And so she goes back to her house, and you realize that she lives with these 2 monsters. They're these 6-foot tall Muppets, right? And so the video is like a dark version of like Elf, an elf when he's like, wait, I'm not an elf. What the like, it's like she's like, oh my God, I'm not a monster. And so she like leaves and goes to Venice Beach and sees like what the human world is, and is like super freaked out by humans, as you would be in Venice Beach and like the Santa Monica Pier and stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of realizes that humans are kind of monsters too, but like the whole video is like pretty bonkers.
Okay, we got let's
go.
dissect this here.
Please, I want to.
So, okay.
I don't know if we can.
Okay. It starts with Pete, right? He writes the song and then he brings it to you, right? Patrick writes it first. He brings it to you, and obviously you're thinking that this represents his mind.
Yes.
Creatively in that moment, are you kind of afraid to punch it up? Are you afraid to give him notes on it then?
No, how me and Patrick work is it's like a really, really weird symbiotic relationship. Like it's very close to the like little bird on like the hippo, or like like the animal nature videos where you're like, well, why is like the turtle and the like bullhead shark best friends? I don't know, they like just are. Like, so our relationship, like it goes back and forth, and we definitely like give each other like it's quick enough now. We call it like cryptophagia, which is when you can just like kind of talk to somebody without really talking to them. But
whoa,
I can be like, that sucks, and he's like, yeah, it sucks, or like vice versa. And it's like we had many years of like near fist fights, and like we got to get to the point that it's at, but we definitely can, and we definitely like. There's a couple moments in the song that we had to change, and lyrically, like there was, like there's like a moment where it's like, like. The line is like, I live so much life, God's gonna have to kill me twice, like my name was Nikki Sixx. Because like Nikki Sixx, back in the day, my buddy always wanted to get a Nikki Sixx, like Nikki Sixx as a zombie with a car battery attached to his chest saying kickstart my heart, because like that guy was unstoppable in the 80s, you know what I mean?
He also still is.
He's unstoppable.
He's still around.
And he still looks like Nikki Sixx, which is awesome. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to go and like talk to him about the song. So I'm like building myself up to that.
Hey.
A little nervous, like running this by somebody.
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah. But I think about it in the way where I'm like, we did it last time with Uma Thurman, and I feel way less scared about this one because with her, I was like, oh my God, like we're referencing Uma Thurman, who's like this like super babe, super actor, like whatever. With Nikki, I'm like, we're referencing this like moment in your, like if someone came to me and they were like, dude, I gotta like be like this guy who like died and came back, like I'd be like, yeah, like I mean like that's, I want people to remember that, you know.
Yeah, right?
So hopefully.
And what better way to document history than in a song?
Exactly.
Come on.
How does the music video relate to the song?
I think that to me, the song and the record is kind of about, it's about the idea of being an outsider, and then you're like an outsider, like, and this is how I remembered growing up. Like I felt like an outsider in my own house a little bit, and not so like with my family, but like more so even in my community. Like I didn't like look like any of the other kids in my neighborhood, and I didn't like, I felt like an outsider, and it wasn't until I like found punk rock that I kind of was like, oh, here's like a place where I fit in, or like we all don't fit in, so we like kind of fit in together, you know? And I think the song references that, and I think that the video references that as well. Like somebody who's like, and I thought about it in the way of like, Joe and the band like reference like Syrian refugees, like where you're not at home in your home, but you're also like not welcome other places or whatever. But like I think it's applicable to like a lot of people and a lot of kind of life right now, I guess. I don't know.
So is everybody in the band contributing to this work before it hits, the air, like lyrically too? Or
no, we all do like our strong parts. Like,
Got it.
so we're like Voltron a little bit. Like we're like someone's the foot, someone's the like,
Yeah.
How do you divide and conquer?
How do we do it?
Yeah.
I'll usually do the lyrics, and then Patrick does a lot of the melody and like initial track work, and then Joe like kind of shreds solos. He also builds on the tracks, and he does a lot of like the like how it sonically overall sounds. And then Andy's basically Animal from the Muppets. So like, it would not be the same without him,
Now when you guys come together for this
I feel
record,
like I'm not aimed the right way. I feel
No,
like
you can-
it's like,
Yeah, you're all good.
I feel like if I was like getting, talking to the American Idol judges, I'm like I'm not like talking to Paula enough, and I'm like freaked out.
does it feel Firing Squad-esque up there? Like
Up here?
Yeah. Be honest.
It feels a little bit like it feels like American Idol / like the Jedi Council and the Star Wars prequels kind of.
Yes.
So you feel like we're judging you in a way.
I guess I don't know.
I was waiting for a Star Wars reference to just
it was
inch
there.
its way in.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's all I have in my brain.
Good. Okay, so when you guys come together and you meet on this new record,
Yeah.
is the consensus that this thing needs to stand out completely from everything else you've done?
No. I think that the song led the charge, kind of. Like the song existed first, and then now we have to build a record around it that will suit it, which makes it inherently have to be different from the rest of the stuff because of the song and the nature of the song. I also think that people are, I played this song. So I played the song for a couple friends of mine, and I had one reaction was like, is the whole record gonna sound like this? Which I'm like, that's so brutal. Like the nicest, most brutal way of saying that, Which is cool because it's polarizing, And then I played for my 8-year-old, and he's like great because he gives you an unfiltered reaction, but it's also unfiltered from the perspective of somebody who's only been listening to music for like 4 years.
Yeah.
So like he's not tied to anything. He asked me if we were like hip hop the other day, and I was like, I know, because it's like there's no like genre is not a thing to him. So like.
By the way, that same energy is matched by his peers in a huge way.
Totally.
Even if you go up to the ages of 17, 18 years old.
Totally.
They're listening with a different set of ears.
Totally.
They're untainted.
Totally. But he'll be like, Nikki 7. I'm like, it's Nikki 6, but Nikki 7's so great. Nikki 7's so great, but yeah. And from him I get more of you'll get big. You'll know if you have hot stinking garbage or a rad song. You might not get a nuanced thing, but it's I know when it's not good.
And what was his vibe?
He likes it, but I don't think, because a lot of people when I play it for him, they'll be like, is there like guitars? And I'm like, well, the whole chorus is live instruments. Like the drums have been like pitched up like crazy, and it's guitars. But like that's how I think a lot of people have been. I wouldn't say like indoctrinated, but I will, because I'm like a crazy person. So have been indoctrinated to listen to music and perceive art. Whereas he's just like listens. So it's just like this could sit next to like Kendrick, or could sit, like, so it's like they listen in a different way. So I think that's more of a visceral reaction to me, and which is who like I think this song is going to polarize a little bit, and I'm kind of okay with that. Like I think that there's nothing worse than when people are like meh. Like
yeah, right?
It's like I want a reaction, like I don't care,
Are you expecting Fall Out Boy fans to be happy with it or to criticize it, or do you have no idea what to expect?
I expect everyone, and I'm not speaking about Fall Out Boy fans here. I'm speaking about the world at large. I expect everyone to be super critical of it, because we live in a complainer culture where like people complain about everything on the internet. But then like when you interact with people in real life, they're like, it's like more of a human interaction, and we're like, like there's things I like and there's things I don't like, and like it's more of like a real thing. Whereas when you're like disconnected and you're on a screen that's 3 inches from your head, it's like very easy to be like, this sucks, what like, why isn't it the way it used to be, and you're like, it all sounds like startlingly close to like, get off my lawn, you punks. Like it's like not far from that. To me, at least, I think about it kind of like with this record, I think about it a little bit like, are we having our, catcher's guard and kilt Axl Rose moment yet, and I don't know if anyone knows that, but like there was a moment on Use Your Illusion when the videos got so crazy where he's like, I need an aircraft carrier to jump off of, and he's wearing a baseball catcher's guard and a kilt and an NWA hat in a I picked this outfit out to wear. Like I'm not trying to shock anybody. This is what I'm wearing today, and I'm like just hoping that there's a potential that we're entering that sphere for Fall Out Boy.
But I think you're seriously like being able to push the envelope creatively and do whatever, right, and get away with it. That's kind of what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, and I don't think that it's necessarily like always get away with it. I think push the envelope, but like there'll be pushback, or like people will come with you. Like you don't really know. I was just talking, with all of these ideas, it's like either like the Titanic or the moon, and like at some point you're in your tuxedos, like it was an honor playing with you gentlemen, like it has to happen, right?
I mean, okay. So when you venture out to do this new music, I mean, who do you get on board? Like obviously Patrick comes to you with the record. Was there any convincing here? With anybody?
No, not internally. I mean, we'll play it we're definitely at the point where we have a little bit more creative freedom, and I think we got the creative license because years ago we put out this song after like our mainstream success. We put out this song called Arms Race, and when we were getting ready to put it out, our A&R at the time was like, congratulations, this is the end. You're witnessing the end of your career at radio.
What?
Yeah, and we were like, oh my God, we're like these 22-year-old guys who were like, whoa, that was short.
By the way, where's that asshole today?
I was gonna say that.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. Right? Yeah, but in some ways it was so freeing, because it was just like, well, you just do what you want to do, and like that. Like we love pop music and we love music in general. Like all I listen to is like hip hop that's probably like more pop leaning, or like whatever. And so, but it was freeing because we were able to kind of like make the stuff that we want to make, and we can make records like this, and it's cool, like, because sometimes we're gonna miss. We did like an EP with Ryan Adams that was just like this little West Coast punk rock thing that was just fun to do,
But sometimes you need to do those things, right?
Totally.
Because it is still an art, right? And you do have a need within you to fulfill that like creative need, yeah?
Yeah, totally. And I don't think people don't want you, like, I think the opposite of what people think right now. A lot of people think. I think that it's counterintuitive to pander to people right now.
Yeah.
I think that we're clearly in a populist era. We're in an era where people are angry and people are don't know why they're angry, and some people do know why they're angry, and we're in an era where people can be very loud. And I think that rather than like pandering and like creating like this hodgepodge stuff that's like written by guys from Sweden, that like you can make it's a time when you can make authentic music. Like Green Light by Lorde is a dope song, and it's rad, and it's authentic, and it's cool. All the stuff that Sia does is rad, and it's authentic, and it's cool. I think Drake makes really authentic, cool music. And I think that that's smart right now, because I think that when it may be not as giant as, like if you kind of like come up with it in a laboratory, but I think that people latch onto that and latch onto those artists, and it has like a deeper impact with people. Yeah. Maybe it's not as big, but it's a deeper impact, and I think that that's important sometimes. So that's like what this song is for us, and like hopefully it reacts to some people. And if not, go myself. I own 2 6-foot Muppet costumes. You know what I'm saying?
So
glass half full, bro. Worst case scenario, I got these costumes.
I got these Halloween costumes on lock.
Are you looking around you at things like what's going on in the world and the divide in our country for inspiration? Because you're at a different part in your life a moment in your life than you were maybe 5 or 6 years ago when you were making music. Not saying you've stopped, but you're different for you, right?
Totally.
Not as relatable, maybe. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think that it's interesting because we get to travel and see people and interact with people, and I think we're at a time where people are unsure, but some people are angry, and everything's pretty divisive. That's our record's called Mania, and I think that like we're in a time, like our culture, and I mean by our world culture, is in a time of mania. Like mania is the idea that it starts as this like euphoric feeling, like you're feeling great and you're happy, and it can turn like pretty wild and pretty violent and pretty strange, like when you have a true manic episode. And it kind of feels like that's what the world culture is right now, and it's like I don't want to add to that, but I think that we've never been a band that's like a real political band. I think I have friends that are like super political and they're awesome, and like a band like Rise Against, they're like awesome. But to me, I think that it's really important now because like the personal is super political right now. They're like really intertwined.
They're one and the same.
They're the same thing. So like who you are and how you feel is what you're going to project into the world, and I think that that's important, and that's like what this album speaks to. I think. And
I think that's right. Speaking as a consumer and somebody who's been a fan for a while, that's something that we need, right?
Oh, thank you.
We need music that's going to touch on that type of stuff without, I'm not saying I'm a fan of one or the other, but songs that maybe force something down your throat as opposed to just put out the positivity that like comes with being a good person.
Totally.
So what can we as fans and just people expect from the new album? Well,
you can expect that it's not finished quite yet. Okay. It'll be out this fall. So when we did Save Rock and Roll, this album, Save Rock and Roll and American Beauty, we kind of did these albums that were back to back. We literally released Centuries basically at the last kind of show of the Save Rock and Roll kind of touring thing. And it was an attempt for us to see if, because I look at like Drake and Diplo and stuff, and we look at them and we see like these guys are able to kind of be really prolific, and they can work on music on laptops, on airplanes. It's like a different thing as a band. So we were kind of seeing like, can a band do this? And so we did it. I think it almost killed us doing it, like, because we're recording at festivals and in hotel rooms.
More stress than it's worth?
Well, it was just an experiment. Yeah, definitely a lot of stress though. And so with this record, I think we wanted to make sure we took our time and built a body of work around it, and something that makes sense. Because I think if we do have the Purple record, it's kind of important for it to speak to the idea that it's something different, and it is like a left turn when you're supposed to be making a right turn. I was reading another Star Wars reference. I was reading a Ryan Johnson, who's doing the next. He's an awesome director. You should check out. But he's doing the next Star Wars movie. And he was like, they were like, well, what do you want from your new projects? And he's like, really my only point in my new projects that they have to have, he's like, I want all of them on the Wikipedia to have an aftermath section. And I'm like, that's such a perfect goal. You know what I mean? And like so that's the goal. The goal is funny. Like there needs to be an aftermath, So smart.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you want an aftermath?
Definitely. Like just like
people will speak for a very long time.
Like in the wake of this.
Do you believe that you have timeless records that have shaped culture?
I think that it's wild for me to. This is like probably a longer answer than there needs to be, but I think that we have it's wild to me when kids come up to me at airports and they're like, "I play drums because of Andy Hurley." That's wild to me. But I think about it in terms of like, there's hundreds of our artists and songs a year, and there's 40 or 50 artists a decade, and then when you get into centuries, it gets a lot smaller. You know what I mean? Like I've been, I've read like a couple books, like where they touch on this, and it's hard to know like what's really truly going to be timeless. There was like a time when like bassoon music and like band music was like the biggest kind of music, and you were like, this is all like the biggest, like the 10 of these are going to be forever. But like now it's like niche, So I mean, like, it's timeless in the internet culture for like maybe a week.
And then they want something new and different.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a little sick though. The way we consume music and at
Pretty
the rate
crazy.
we consume it.
Yeah. I mean, it for a minute it freaked me out, but then I was like, this is cool. Like, I feel like people come out and people are like, and I was talking to a buddy about this, and he was, like the idea like that curation is this like new thing that we're doing. Like, kids that just have phones curate everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like all they do. They like sit there and they like curate their YouTube videos, and they like listen to music in the way they want to listen to it, or whatever. And it's freaky, but I think it's great because it's music is at least way more as prevalent or more prevalent than it was pre-internet. Like, it's everywhere now.
It's given not new life, but a different life.
Yeah.
And more people an opportunity. And it's also given birth to a lot of other musicians that I think we might not have seen otherwise or heard otherwise.
And I think that the thing, like another friend of mine said was like, that I thought was really intuitive, was that no one like has their first kiss or cries or like gets better from a breakup to like a new app. Like, no one's
right?
like, dude, I was so sad, so like I opened up Angry Birds. Like, it's music is what you go to. It's like it is that like texture in your life. And I think that's important.
So how did the cameo in the Panic at the Disco concert happen?
Oh my God! So Brendan's a good dear friend of mine, and they had brought up the idea of creating this moment that was like similar to a video of theirs. So I went out to this like little ranch house out at, like, I don't even know where El Segundo, I don't know where I was, but like we shot this thing, and he was like, I didn't really know what I was shooting it for. Like, I didn't really like, I knew it was for Panic, but like I didn't understand what the final thing was going to be. So the guy kept being like, just think of like what Heath Ledger did for like the Joker. And I'm like, yeah, just like the performance that he got an Oscar for. Like, it's like, just whip that one off.
Just channel him.
So that was what turned out, from that. But
I think it was close.
Yeah, right? I'm like, it's like, don't aim too high or anything.
By the way, what are the greatest performances of all time?
Of all time.
I mean,
yeah.
What a terrible director.
Yeah, it was crazy.
A&R. I mean, come on, you can't give that.
We only surround ourselves with the best.
I mean, Heather's boyfriend thought you were coming out, and he's like the biggest Fall Out Boy fan of all time.
Wait, coming out? Like,
no, like he thought.
Come in.
No, he thought Pete was gonna come out and like perform a song or something.
I almost did. The show I was gonna do it was in Los Angeles, but we were in Japan. We were playing shows in Japan, or else I would have. Yeah.
Do you think it's weird for a 30-year-old
FaceTime?
FaceTime me in. You got me, guys.
Do you think it's weird for a 30-year-old guy to hang a Fall Out Boy flag above his bed? Because that's what Heather's boyfriend has.
Bring that up.
What flag is it?
The one from
The black
American
one or whatever?
Beauty.
Is it black?
American Psycho. Yeah, it's black.
It
looks like an American flag, but it's your flag.
Yeah, I don't think so. I have like really strange taste in everything. I was ordering like XFL jerseys last night.
Oh, He Hate Me.
Yeah, I was trying to order a He Hate Me jersey. It's really hard to get an authentic one.
I'm sure it is.
I was like, okay, $48, no problem. Oh, that one's probably not authentic. The authentic one's like $1,000. Yeah, for sure.
And if you got to go big.
Yeah, I think I feel but I mean, like, impressing, like being like going to like my kids and being like, well, you probably can't have that new like video game because Dad needed the He Hate Me jersey. That therapy session's gonna be so
Oh no, I can easily make the case that jersey, just like the flag, will one day be worth something.
Maybe, potentially. The jersey already is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
you can't find those.
You know?
The flag, you never. Come on.
Yeah, maybe. Potentially.
I mean, it's hanging above our bed that we sleep in together.
And do other things in.
Yeah.
Okay, we're there.
Yep.
We're with you.
Wavering proudly.
So, Lewis, if you're listening, it's not weird. Pete said it's okay.
I think it's fine.
Pete Wentz. Anything else, everybody?
Well, this is just like I don't know why I'm asking this, but
yeah.
Are you related at all to the Eagles quarterback, Carson Wentz?
This is so great. My mom says we are.
Really? How?
Well, she says it's like some second cousin thing because Wentz is an uncommon name here.
Yeah.
I don't think so, actually, because Wentz is a more common name in Germany. And especially, I think, if it's common anywhere, it's common in Pennsylvania. But, I mean, he's not from Pennsylvania.
No, he's North Dakota,
Yeah,
I think.
but in the Pennsylvania areas where, like, those Germans settled, or whatever, I don't know. I am related to Colin Powell.
Shut up, really?
Yeah, so I'll put that one out there.
That's a big one.
And I'm trying to I don't have like the arm DNA is not there in my relation to Carson Wentz, but maybe I don't know. I want to be.
Who is that?
I have a Carson Wentz jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
You just buy because I would name.
Well, because I would never. Yeah, I'm a Bears fan and like whatever. We're not gonna talk about that.
He's a
but
football
like,
player.
yeah, but I've never seen a jersey with my name on it, so I was like, gotta get it.
I mean, you have never gotten one like over the years of like showing up to those things?
I've gotten jerseys, but when they give you jerseys at so we get them when we play arenas, and they give you like the basketball jersey, and that's when you quickly realize that like basketball players are human monster size. They all go down to your knees. You can't wear them anywhere. It's like, thanks for another night shirt.
Fun.
Pete Wentz.
Well, actually, quickly, you mentioned arenas. Like, do you ever see yourself not being part of this band that's touring the world and like the biggest shows ever?
Sure. Yeah, man. I think about it a lot. I actually thought about it. I saw this movie, Lost City Z.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's pretty cool movie in general, but it's this guy, he's this explorer, and he's kind of in the Victorian era of England when they're like kind of post-empire. They're post going everywhere to just like steal everything from everybody. They're kind of like more like, let's find stuff and like save the savages.
Work together.
And he thinks he finds this kind of like lost El Dorado type city in Amazonia at the time, and it kind of consumes him. He like can't have a normal life, and it's a little bit like that when you're in a band and you're like trying to be a band that plays like arenas or stadiums and it is also on the radio at the same time. It's kind of like this endless quest that at some point it has to end, probably, I guess, like at some point you like die of some crazy fever in the Amazon, or hopefully you hang it up before then.
Like, quit before you get there.
Well, you got two options, right? That's it.
I feel like I might be a die in the Amazon kind of guy.
It's already consumed so much of you.
Yeah.
Why end? Right?
No, I hear you. Yeah.
Keep going. Bebe Rexha, when you see her, obviously you guys work together.
Yeah.
And you see her doing her thing and doing well. I mean, I'm sure she learned a lot from you. You guys were connected. Are you supportive of that? You cool about it?
Oh, 100%. I love Bebe. She like randomly, I was sitting at, what is it called? What's the
McDonald's.
No. They
guessing.
make the Chang sauce there. P.F. Chang's.
Oh.
Okay.
Names in the sauce.
Got it. So they got the giant lion dragon statues outside. It's a fancy restaurant.
Yeah,
you guys might not have been there before. It's very fancy. Yeah, so because all I can picture is when the episode of South Park where like Towelie won't stop mixing the Chang sauce. They're like, he won't stop mixing the Chang sauce. But I was at PF Chang's and she FaceTimed. No, she FaceTimed me there and was like, hey, how are you doing? And like I was close with her mom, and like it was really the first thing that she had done when we were like touring and stuff. So there was a lot of like. It was like crazy stuff that I'd taken for granted that like like it was like the sound check, like all these things. And so like it's one of those like to me, for me at least, is like one of those like mother bird like sees the like bird like soar out of the nest and you're like, she's doing it, she's flying.
I knew it.
Yeah, totally.
That's beautiful,
for sure.
Cool.
Why don't you get a Benihana grill in your house?
Dude, I want one so bad. I'm gonna tell you one of the two reasons.
Go.
I have a 2-year-old, soon to be 3-year-old in my house, and
Unsafe.
he would be Benihana. He would be the like little onion steam express every day. He's like literally, as soon as we got to Benihana, he was like, "Do I sit on the grill?" It's like, no, you don't.
Do I just touch it?
Yeah, you don't do it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Benihana is like, it goes off, dude. Like Benihana is so poppin' in Encino on like a Thursday, Friday night. I was there not too long ago, and first of all, you can't like really get in there at all, and
Not even Pete Wentz?
no, they don't care about that. No, that doesn't work. That thing doesn't work at Benihana and Encino. It does not. They don't care. And I was sitting there and I was like, dude, vegetables at Benihana taste so much better than they taste everywhere else. And then I was like, oh my god, they put so much garlic butter on it. Vegetables could taste this good everywhere. You would just like literally die if you left, like if you ate like that all the time. Benihana's great. The one in Encino, the guys, they always do the heart right, the heart, the I heart you. It's great, and they like they throw the trash in their hat, and like it's
You should just start a blog where you just travel from Benihana to Benihana and just review.
Yeah, I'm down. I could do that.
You know, Tyrese has one in his backyard.
You know, like why die in the Amazon? You could die at Benihana. Wait, Tyrese has a Benihana grill in his back.
Research it. Tyrese has one in his backyard. He built it.
That Fast and the Furious money, though. You know what I'm talking about? Tokyo drifting in the backyard with some fried rice. I'll be there, yo. Tyrese, hit me up. Hit your boy up. You know, come in.
What is the craziest thing you've spent money on?
That I've spent money on. The craziest thing I spent, like, my obsessions are all very like very simple. I'm like the Joker in Dark Knight when he's like, TNT is not that expensive. So like I wanted like the bat that what's his name had that said face on it on the baseball card. You know what I'm talking about? That Ripken had. Yes. I bought that. Like I've splurged on like XFL jerseys and like you don't want to see like the stuff that I search on Amazon. Like I got yesterday or the day before I got like really into Krishna hardcore. There was like this time in the 90s for like a year when everybody turned Krishna and the music was like really musical and weird, and I'm like, I got super into it last night and went like deep down a hole that I barely came back from. I almost found the lost city of Z. Dude, so that's what it is. You know, Michael Jordan's baseball card.
You're like a pop culture guy, right?
I am.
Like,
and weird pop culture. Like I'm like a Crystal Pepsi kind of guy.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If I was to describe you in a drink, it would be Crystal Pepsi.
You want to fix that, whatever the snafu is, fire up the Crystal Pepsi again. That's all we'll talk about. You know what I mean?
They brought that back for a short time. I don't think it lasted.
It didn't work?
No.
It's tough. It was a tough sell. I remember because you're kind of like, it's Sprite, but it tastes like Coke. You know, like it's kind of weird.
It's like
but it really did taste like Pepsi. I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it was like a mind thing.
It wasn't.
I'm reading a lot about, so people's, especially Americans, like perception, all of our stuff is pretty visual when it comes to food and stuff. It's like all really visual. So if it doesn't look right, we immediately think that something's different. Even like when they don't change recipes for stuff, you think that it is.
We were just talking about this. Like, remember the purple ketchup that came out like in the early 2000s? I couldn't eat it because it tasted just like ketchup, but I couldn't eat it.
It's just
weird. Yeah.
So right now, I was reading that all like American production is like food production. They're gonna switch all the food, like Mars and like the candy companies and stuff are switching all of their coloring to organic coloring now.
Great.
Which is really cool, but they can't find blue. Blue doesn't exist in nature really.
And
blueberries.
What are we gonna do?
They're purple when you smash them.
Right.
There's nothing like blue. So they're doing, and they're like. So the one thing that they found is blue algae, but it like it taints food a little bit. It taints food a little bit.
And nobody wants that. At that point, just give me the blue poison.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, the stuff isn't even really poison now. The 10 food colors that we have,
our bodies have become used to it over
You're
time.
just like, this is fine. What is this organic thing? Where's the gluten? I can't taste the gluten in this.
This is my favorite.
You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Yeah. Me too. I rock that. I'm getting a I love gluten Benihana tattoo. Right when we leave here. Right when we leave here. You know what I mean?
I'll go together.
You know?
Pete Wentz, the biggest honor, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for taking the time, man.